Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the market follow for today, the 19th of June, 2026. We're excited to have you all here. My name is CJ, and we're going to be taking you through the market follow for today, showing you the pairs we need to analyze, pairs we have traded this week and how they have played out, and what we look out for as we head into the new week. Alongside with me, we have Lekon, Cynthia, Avi, and Demola, who are also going to be sharing their thoughts on various other currency pairs and other instruments as we proceed with the market color for today. We're going to be starting on gold. So gold is the first pair we're going to be analyzing. So wherever you're joining us from London to New York to Laos to Lagos, sit tight and enjoy the rest of the market color. Now, starting off with gold against the dollar, we're looking at gold on the daily time frame, and we've seen gold give us a classic structure of giving us a high on the Monday, and then by midweek, we started seeing a reversal. So gold was actually buying on Monday, and then traded into this fair value gap somewhere around here, and then tapped this old low. The moment it did so, it started selling to the downside. So our bias for gold has been a sell since Wednesday because of this actual play out that we saw here. Now gold is resuming back its sell to the downside. We expect it to continue selling all the way to the downside. If you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, you would also see that it has sold so much. Right now, we're waiting for some retracement that is going to give us a good entry back to the downside. One of the levels I'm expecting gold to trade to this morning is on the 1-hour time frame, this particular level right here. And then if should it go deeper than this in terms of the retracement, we should be expecting another one right here because of the confluence of the bearish order block here and this previous low residing around this region. This is what I'm thinking gold will do when it gets to this level. I'm expecting it to sell off back to the downside afterwards. So two places I'm expecting gold to trade to. First, around here. When price gets here, I'm expecting it to trade all the way back to the upside from here and then sell off back to the downside. If it gets to this level and invalidates it, we'll be expecting a move all the way to this region here and then a sell off back to the downside. These are the two things that we're expecting gold to do this morning as we proceed into the day to round off the week. Okay. So for me, once I see gold inside this region here, I'll be getting ready for a sell off. All right. So that is that on gold this morning. Now, quickly, if we look at the yen basket has not given us clarity on direction yet because we're expecting to sell off heavily into this region here. Instead, we're seeing the buy, and which is quite typical of the yen basket when there is uncertainty in the market or when other currency pairs or currency indices are taking the lead in the market. The yen pairs or the yen just decides to be quiet. Right now, it is buying back to the upside, and it is now stuck within this range. If you take a look at GBP/JPY, you see the implication of that on GBP/JPY. For GBP/JPY, you can see that it is selling off. But then, very interestingly, on GBP/JPY, I've been looking forward to seeing what price will do around this order block here. And then, of course, there is the twin fair value gap residing right above the order block, which is right around here. I really wanted to see what GBP/JPY had in store for that particular price point, and you can see that GBP/JPY has gotten there and decided to do nothing. Okay, right now we're expecting a possible retracement back to the upside, having seen these two rejections from yesterday and from today. If you look at it on 4-hour time frame, you see clearly that there's a rejection of this particular point to the upside, and for the 1-hour time frame as well, you can see 3 rejections from this particular price point. So for GBP/JPY, I'm bullish. I'm maintaining a bullish bias. I think that price is resuming back to the upside. Right now, you can see that price has broken 15-minute structure. We're expecting it to resume back to the upside in terms of the buy. So for GBP/JPY, I'm bullish right now. I'm just looking for an entry signature to print out in the form of an engulfing candle or an evening star pattern. Then I'll take my buy on GBP/JPY and ride it all the way to the upside. This is my bias on GBP/JPY. This is what I'm expecting to see. Now, if you go back to Euro/JPY on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that Euro/JPY has given us a very deep retracement back to this bearish order block, bullish order block rather. And then we're seeing the rejections as well from Euro JPY, just as we had on GBP JPY. So right now, on Euro JPY, for me, I'm waiting for this break here to confirm structure, and then I'll be taking my buy on Euro JPY to the upside. So once price breaks this level and closes above and give me a retracement, I will be looking for a buy on Euro JPY. So for GBP JPY and Euro JPY, I'm expecting a buy, and for gold, I'm expecting a sell. So these are the things I'm looking out for on these currency pairs that I have my eyes on. And so far this week, we've seen how they played out. For GBP JPY this week, we've seen that it was actually bullish for GBP JPY and Euro JPY. We had a bullish start to the week, and then we're ending the week bearish. Although we're expecting a resumption of the buy trend from here. Moving into next week, we expect that retracement to start today being Friday as we head into the new week. Same thing goes for GBP JPY as well. We're expecting retracement to start off as we head into the next week. After we had a heavily bearish week, we're expecting a bullish week as we head into the new week next week. All right, so these are the things that I have for today, and I have my eyes on. We're going to be moving over to the dollar-related pairs. We have Euro USD, GBP USD, and of course the dollar index to be covered. So we're going to be having Cynthia on that to share her thoughts and our bias on that.
Well, this is great. Such a wonderful analysis from your end. We'll be looking at GBP USD, Euro USD, DXY to see what price has gone during the course of the week. Right. So if you're not taking notes of the price points for calling out, kindly do so that when price gets there, you're right on time to take penalties in the market. So on the weekly time frame for DXY, I'm looking at this price point for the period of time now for price to trade into the left shoulder at 107.490, and once price gets here, I'm more than willing to sell off all the way to the downside. And on daily time frame, of course, price reacted off left shoulder at 97.902, and we're seeing it turning to the upside. The liquidity residing at this double top has already been swept. So we're looking for more bullish moves on the XY. I am more bullish on the XY than bearish. And on the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing that, of course, the trend is an uptrend. So we're looking out for opportunities. Any retracement we spot, we want to ride the buy all the way to the upside. We're bullish on Monday for the remaining part of the week, and that is what has played out. So on the 1-hour time frame, we're actually looking out for price to retrace right back into 99.870, and still looking out for price to retrace into a discount level, which is this left shoulder residing right here. And once that happens, I want to keep riding the bullish trend on the XY. Please take note of this price point so that into next week, once price gets there, we know that we want to keep riding the buy to the upside. On GBP USD, let's see what was analyzed and what played out. The 3 time frame, of course, we still want to see price pressing all the way to 1.24683, and on the daily time frame, right, price tapped into this level, 1.35617, right? Price tapped into this zone, and we're seeing that price has been selling all the way to the downside. My first point of taking profit is at 1.31778. Second point of taking profit is at 1.30033. Right, so I'm still seeing that there's still more room for GBP USD to sell all the way to the downside. Right, we've seen the break of structure, we've seen change of character. All we're waiting for, all we're looking out for is for us to keep riding the trend, which is a bearish trend to the downside. And on the 4-hour time frame too, nothing is confusing, as we can see right here. More bearish moves. So if I cite any retracement with my entry, I want to take the sell of GBP USD. And if you remember our trade call on Monday, we're actually looking out for price to retrace right back into this left shoulder at this level right here, 1.34628. Shoulder sweep break, return right back into this level, and we're looking out for price to sell all the way. Price tapped exactly into where we're looking at, and see what happened. sold all the way to the downside. So what we're looking out for is for entries. We're looking out for more entries to keep riding the sell of GBP USD. So once I spot my box pattern on the much lower time frames, I want to take the sell of GBP USD. I want to keep riding the sells on GBP USD. Any retracement to a premium level, I want to short GBP USD. Right now, there's no entry, but let's believe into next week, you should see some very sweet entries on GBP USD. Last on my list being Euro USD on the weekly time frame, of course. I've been looking out for price to retrace all the way into this left shoulder right here. 1.05890. Once price gets there, we want to keep buying all the way. On the daily time frame, as we can see, price tapped into this left shoulder at 1.18012, and we're seeing the moves to the downside. On the 4-hour time frame also, we were actually bearish on Monday into the remaining part of the week, and that was exactly what played out. But we couldn't spot an entry on Monday, right? We couldn't spot a precise entry as we did on GBP USD, but we knew that we wanted to sell Euro USD. And of course, into next week, we want to look out for entries, precise entries based on our box pattern strategy that we usually use for analysis during the market color session, right? So once price retraces at least into this fair value gap on the 1-hour time frame, I'm looking out for price to retrace. After every expansion, as we know, the retracement, and once price retraces into this fair value gap, and I see a precise entry on the much lower time frames, we already know that we're looking out for the classic box pattern. I want to sell Euro USD. With that being said, that's the end of my own recap. We're heading straight to the synthetics market to see what price did during the course of the week and possible entries into the weekend. Lekon, what are you seeing in synthetics market this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Cynthia. Thank you very much. And that was a very great analysis. And I'm also prepared to take some of your entry when price gets there today. All right. So let's quickly look at what is going on in the synthetic market, knowing fully well today being Friday, for recap and at the same time preparation to take much more entries in the course of the weekend, because the synthetic market is open 24/7. As much as you can, as much as you can pick from, you truly would get from the market. Yeah, so this morning, starting with V75 index. All right, so for V75 index, for the past few days, we've seen how it was in a strong consolidation. There was a breakout to the downside. So this is what we call FU move. So we've seen breakout to the downside, and at the same time, another breakout to the upside. So where exactly are we expecting price to get to? Since the inducement here has been taken out and price is targeting this daily order block. So all things being equal, we still expect price to pull a little bit more to the upside, tap into this daily order block, then we begin to see the sell party resume. Because if you look at the overall trend, we've been bearish and we are still very much bearish. So our full move to conclude that we are now bullish is until price takes out this high and we see a break to the upside and pull back. So we then begin to follow through to resume our bullish move for V75. But if not, we are just expecting price to keep tapping into reference points. We have chart, which is this being the next reference point, the daily order block that we have here being the next reference point. Then we want to see price reaction at that level, and we are going to begin to follow through to the downside. And just so that those following us this morning would know, we share trade calls of V75, especially synthetic, in our ATM cash flow community, and that is where the real cooking happens. While on the market color, we do the analysis and tell you levels where you prepare for, but the real entry and real target level is definitely defined in our community. So if you want to do that, you can easily reach out to us on any of our social media handles. So from this daily time frame, if you look at it from the 4-hour perspective too, there's there's actually a trend line that price has been respecting right from we have our buy entry from this point. We took a buy here on the 1 hour time frame sometimes last week or 2 weeks ago, and then that is what price is still reacting to up till date. All right, and price is definitely bouncing from this trend line. So if we want to do that, what then should we do? Looking at even the 4 hour to confirm this setup, when price gets there, you are going to observe, and just let's look at past price action. So on the past price action, we have how that price took out all this liquidity here, and we saw a very clean and clear break to the downside. So this is a very clean and clear liquidity level that has been taken out, and we saw a very clear break to the downside, this being our shoulder. If you trace it, it's still more of a confluence within the daily order block, and this being our inducement level that price currently came to tap out sometimes yesterday and day before yesterday. All right, and if you look at it right now, price has taken out that level, and most people are expecting us to start selling, but this look more like a trap because price is still respecting the trend line moving forward, and it has not really tapped into our daily POI. This is our daily POI. So in a nutshell, I'm still of the opinion that we just have to be patient a little bit more and see price, tap into our daily POI. So we are expecting price to still rally a little bit more, tap here. When we get to this zone, then we look for sell opportunity to sell down. So I know someone is going to ask, then can't we just follow price for this little move remaining? Yes, you can, but go to your lower time frame, which is on the 1 hour time frame. So for 1 hour, what I'm seeing that price can mostly do is coming all the way. You can see this liquidity has been taken out, but the only concern for me this morning is that this move couldn't take out this low. If this move did not take out this low, then that makes this particular setup for a buy a low probability. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is there's a tendency we see price do something of this nature. You're going to see this tap into this order block here, or particularly take out this inducement and tap into this 1 hour order block, which also have a confluence of this shoulder here, tap into it. Then we now see the final leg to this zone, and when price get there, then we begin to see this coming all the way down. However, don't be deceived that when price breaks out from this level to come and test this zone, don't be deceived and think it is a break in trend. No, that is just a trick. All right, because we are still very much bullish on this time frame. So don't see this as a breakout. No, it's more like price coming to tap this level, and you begin to see this happen. But when price taps here and you begin to see your sales structure within this particular daily order block zone, then we can follow through and try to ride it down in line with the trend. Now a quick 1-2-V75-1S from the daily perspective. As you can see, we are still very much bullish all the way to the upside. However, I'm still of the opinion that we're still going to see price come somewhere here in time when price wants to. So this is a level, and I'm also looking at, you can see this particular zone that we actually waited for price to tap into it when this sell was happening, but price did not. So I'm of the opinion that price will still one day pull back all the way to this level. But right now, what are we seeing? We are seeing that the buy momentum is becoming more stronger as price already took out this high, and is giving us much more like a market structure shift. And if you look at it in reference to past price action, you are going to discover that that is giving us more clarity that the 751S looks more of a buy trade right away. Now to the 4-hour time frame, we are going to see on the 4-hour, since the liquidity level has been taken out, and we are still expecting further buys to the upside. So there is a very clean and clear box pattern on the 4-hour here. This is a sweep of the liquidity that we are playing out here, as we all can see. Right. So, and after that, we see the shoulder at this region and price the breakout to the upside. Now, price has pulled back and we are expecting something of this nature to happen. And when price comes back, tap into this shoulder level here with this order block and this fair value gap. So this is going to be an accurate level to continue the buy. So we are looking for a buy opportunity at this point in time when price gets here, with our stop loss being minimal, and we are targeting 1:3 or as much as you can all the way to the upside. So that is that for V75 1X. Right now, a quick one to VIX10-1S as we round up this morning. We are going to observe for VIX10-1S. You can see on the daily time frame we are very much bullish, and as you can see, the last swing took out this level, and we are seeing more of a pullback, and all I'm expecting is price to come and take out this inducement that we can see here, meaning as price is coming, let it take out this guy here, tap into this is a daily reference point, this is a shoulder daily reference point, and also this fair value gap here. When price taps into it, then we begin to see the buy move continue from the daily perspective. Now to the 4-hour time frame, which we can use for our clear entry. Now you're going to agree with me that this is a very clean and clear shoulder pattern, and that is why I use another shade here. You can see this is the sweep of liquidity, the break of market structure, the pullback. So I'm expecting price to come and take out this inducement and even come all the way to tap into this 4-hour shoulder. That implies that as price keeps moving, we are most likely going to see price taps into this daily 1 hour, and at the same time price tapping into this 4-hour level. Then we follow through all the way to the upside. In a nutshell, in conclusion, what we are trying to see is that price come all the way trade into this zone, and we are targeting our 1:3 or more to the upside. All right, so that is all for the synthetic market. Let's watch out for today being Friday, and even Saturday, Sunday. Remember, the market is open 24/7 for synthetic and not just as currency. All right, so make sure you trade cautiously and use your proper risk management strategy. Once again, I'm Lekon Shemi. Now, right about now, we'll be moving straight into the indices market, where Demola is going to be breaking it down to the simplest form for you and I, and at the same time we are going to be seeing the opportunities there we can jump on this morning. Good morning, Demola.
All right, I'll be taking it up from here. Thank you so much, Leighton, for that beautiful analysis. Let us go down to see what the commodity currency market has for us today. And come Monday, we'll then look at the indices market and get more trading opportunities from that. So starting off with AUD/USD, I'm going to quickly take us through what we saw on Monday and the bias that we had come up with on that particular day. If you remember, if you're part of that session, we stated that this was a possible support that could become future resistance, and price traded into that zone and delivered over 90 pips on this asset class. Beautifully done. AUD/USD was a sweet. Give me a second. AUD/USD was very sweet to trade this week. Delivered, and it has now sold. Remember, during the course of that analysis, no sunshine has been printed yet, so we expected a bit more buy to the upside. Sunshine printed before the sale resumes. So now that this sale has now happened, what am I now looking forward to? This has happened in the past, right? We can't make money from what already happened in the past. We're trying to look forward. So because no sunshine has also been printed on the downside, I believe there's going to be a bit more room for AUD/USD to dig deeper before we now either see, a retracement or a sell continuation, but it's not going to move in just one direction regardless. It's going to come and give us a retracement eventually. Coming down to the 1-hour time frame, you see that we have this zone marked out, this level also marked out, and this level point marked out as well. These are now our three major POIs: 0.70501, 0.70642, 0.71402. These are major POIs I'm watching out for. Should price eventually retrace, on the higher time frame and they give us deep retracement, make sure you're looking out for these points as well. But now looking at our most recent price movement, give us daily bread, what zones are we looking out for? You can now see them here on the 5-minute time frame. Just take note of the price point. For those of us who are not students of the academy and do not have these indicators, price point would help. So 0.69940, 0.70012, 0.70391, and 0.70745. And now the four major points that we're looking out for on the 5-minute time frame. What does this mean? It basically means that AUD/USD could do this, test into this level, and then trade all the way in here, right? Or trade above, come retest this, violate this level, and keep on buying, right? So this is what we're currently watching out for to see what this particular asset class. Okay, so this is what I'm looking out for on the AUD/USD asset class. So please make sure you watch out for that. But if this zone fails to hold, there could be a violation below this zone, and for price to continue to trade lower. Moving into the next asset class, NZD/USD on the H4 time frame. What do we see? NZD/USD has been selling sunshine printers, so we're expecting temporal buys from where price currently is to those retracement zones before the move is continued. This now becomes point of interest 1, point of interest 2, and point of interest 3. So 0.58054, 0.58282, and 0.58772 are now our major points of interest. So watch out for these ones. On the 5-minute time frame, what are the most recent price levels we're watching out for? 0.57475, 0.57524, 0.57970, 0.58328. Watching out for these levels, right? And then when price comes there traceable, because we said price will give us the retracement eventually, we could expect central buys into this zone. Was the sunshine printed here? Yes, already. So this is giving us more buyers that NZD/USD buy is going to happen very soon. Unlike AUD/USD, where the sunshine has not been printed yet. So make sure you're watching out for NZD/USD buy retracement, but don't go in with the ideal risk that you would when you're going with a trend following trade. Now looking at USD card on the H4, sunshine has also been printed. Price came, violated the zone that we marked out. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. This is the level that we had marked out during the course of our last analysis. Price came, tested it, and it was pushed to the upside with so much momentum, and it left towards liquidity in the process. Sunshine also printed. So we're expecting USD card to give us temporal sell-offs. Temporal sell-offs into what level on H1? 1.40420 is point of interest 1, 1.39685 is point of interest 2, and all the way down here at 1.38067. These are now the 3 points of interest on the 1 hour time frame. Then moving down to the 5 minutes, we now have yesterday's high and low marked out, day before yesterday's high and low also marked out. What did we say we're expecting on USD card again? Temporal sell-offs, temporal retracement, right? And you can see the distance between where price currently is and what could be our most preferred take profit level. So once this gives confirmation, which I believe it already has, going to the 1-minute time frame, let's see, is that confirmation on the M1? So price came, broke through, retested. I would want to see price come back, break through this zone again and retest somewhere around this zone. And I'll be taking a quick sell of USD card from where it currently is all the way down here. So my most preferred asset classes for this morning are NZD/USD and USD card because they meet more criteria than H4 does, which are not giving us that sunshine for the retracement trade that we're going to take. So pay attention to these asset classes and let's make some money from them. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to seeing us all on Monday, 8:30 a.m. on the dot. Don't forget to tell a friend to join the Value Flow Trading community on Telegram. Simply sign up by visiting the website valueflowtrading.com/marketcaller. Also, don't forget to spend the weekend studying and backtesting, preparing for next week. Okay, once again, thank you for joining. See you next time. I remain Sabi Abi. Cheers and God bless.